Aston Martin Vantage Review. What is it? The first all-new Aston Martin sports car since the Vantage rejoined the ranks in 2005 is not, we repeat, not merely a Mercedes-AMG GT in a Savile Row dinner jacket. Yes, the new baby Aston Martin shares its 4.0-litre, twin-turbo engine with AMG's finest and some of its interior technology, but beyond that, this is all Aston. And it's a very fine piece of work. How much does it have in common with the DB11? And don't think that just because the Vantage sits on a shortened version of the DB11's aluminium platform, and shares its 8-speed automatic gearbox, that it's more Aston reheated leftovers. Aston kept the DB11 deliberately soft and gentlemanly so the shorter, lighter Vantage could be punchier, angrier, and more of a sports car. Finally, some clear daylight between Aston Martin's products. What's it like to drive? The gearbox is sharper. The electronic rear differential is lightning fast in its reactions, to maximize traction, or yobbery, depending on your mood. There's no longer a comfort mode for the powertrain and chassis, this time everything's gone up a notch, with Sport, Sport Plus and Track modes to choose from. Heck, there's even a 7-speed manual gearbox available. You won't find that in any of Aston's other models. Let's have the lowdown on the engine. There's more than one now. The regular engine develops the same 503 brake horsepower and 505 pounds-feet as in the Mercedes-AMG C63. Though torque's down a smidge in the manual, which is enough to get the 1.5-ton Vantage from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 3.6 seconds and onto a top speed of 195 miles per hour, those figures climb to 4.0 seconds and 200 miles per hour with the stick-shift transmission. That's huge performance from an entry-level model, but necessary now the Vantage has an options-free entry price of £120,000 and has to compete with the likes of the Audi R8 V10 Plus, McLaren 540c and Porsche 911 Turbo. What about other versions? There's a soft-top Volante, but the coupe gets other power options. There's an uprated F1 edition that's £18,000 more and boosts the V8 to 527 brake horsepower. That car, although not as attack-orientated as a Porsche 911 GT3, is the more track-focused machine, the one that leads the F1 circus around as the safety car. Then there's the V12 Vantage. It's so different we've given it a whole review to itself, but it's worth running through the basics here. 690 brake horsepower and a 200 miles per hour top end. That ought to do it. It somehow conspires to be less than the sum of its parts, though. What's the verdict? Composed and capable, if not a huge entertainer. Still, this side of a DBS, the best car Aston makes. Aston Martin struggles at new cars, traditionally. Oh, it gets them right eventually. But take the DB9, the last Vantage, even the DB11, we tend to remember them most fondly for what they morphed into throughout their lives, not how they first emerged.